Stop trying to renovate a house built on a rotten foundation. You are tired because you are patching cracks in a wall that needs to be demolished. To build the life you want, you must first have the courage to destroy the life you have. You are not here to feel better. You are here to become better. Put down your excuses. Pick up the hammer. Welcome to Ground Zero. This is how you become the architect of your own mind. Chapter 1. The Demolition Phase. Burn it all down. Listen to me carefully. Most people come to self-improvement because they want a renovation. You want to paint the walls. You want to fix a leaky faucet. You want to rearrange the furniture in your mind to make it look a little bit nicer, a little bit more presentable to the world. You want to feel better. If that is you, turn this off right now. This is not for you. We are not here to renovate. We are here to demolish. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. You cannot build a fortress on a foundation of rotting wood. The reason you are tired, the reason you are inconsistent, the reason you fail to execute on your goals time and time again is not because you lack tips and tricks. It is because the structure you are living in is fundamentally condemned. This is the demolition phase. To build the architect of self, you must first have the courage to stand in the wreckage of who you used to be. You have to look at your current life, your anxieties, your bad habits, your need for validation, your laziness, and realize these are not bugs in the system. They are the system. You have built a house designed to keep you small. You have built a structure designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and mediocre. And now you are frustrated because that structure won't let you grow. Of course it won't let you grow. It wasn't built for growth. It was built for survival. So what do? We don't patch the cracks. We don't put a fresh coat of paint on a collapsing wall. We bring in the bulldozer. We burn it all down. Let's talk about the false foundation. Your identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are, is the foundation. Maybe your story is, I'm not a morning person. Maybe your story is, I'm just an anxious person. It might be, I've never been good with money. Or, I always quit when things get hard. You treat these statements like they are facts, like they are laws of physics. You treat them as if they are written in stone. But they are not stone. They are stories. And they are stories that you have repeated to yourself so many times that they have hardened into concrete. That's the key. You believe that your weakness is permanent. You believe your lack of discipline is a character trait. It is not. It is a structural defect in a house you built. And because you built it, you can destroy it. You have a choice. You can keep living in this cramped, broken house, tripping over the same debris every single day, or you can light the match. When I say burn it all down, I mean you must mentally detach from your past identity. The person who quit the gym last year, that person is dead. The person who wasted 5 years in a dead-end job, that person is gone. The person who is afraid of rejection, vaporized. You must stop carrying the corpse of your old self on your back. It is heavy, it is rotting, and it is slowing you down. This brings us to the most powerful concept you will learn in this phase. Reset to zero. The average person wakes up in the morning carrying the weight of yesterday. If they failed yesterday, they wake up feeling like a failure. If they succeeded yesterday, they wake up feeling entitled to a break. Both of these are traps. If you dwell on your failures, you start the day in a deficit. You start the day owing a debt to the past. You are already losing before you even get out of bed. If you dwell on your victories, you get soft. You think, I did good yesterday. I can take it easy today. That is the poison of complacency. Reset to 0. From this moment forward, you wake up at 0. You have no history, you have no resume, you have no trauma, you have no victories. You are standing at the edge of a construction site. The ground is flat, the dirt is raw, there is nothing behind you and everything in front of you.
Imagine the freedom of that. Imagine waking up and realizing that the you who was lazy yesterday does not exist today, unless you choose to resurrect him. You have a choice. Every single morning is a funeral for the old you and a birth for the new you. This is the mindset of the elite. They do not care what they did 10 years ago. They do not care what they did 10 minutes ago. They only care about the brick they are laying right now. When you operate from 0, you have no ego to protect. You have no reputation to defend. You are simply an instrument of execution. You are pure potential. But to get to 0, you have to fight the enemy, and the enemy is inside the house. Let's talk about the ego trap. Your ego is not just the part of you that wants to show off. Your ego is the part of you that wants to stay the same. The ego loves the known. It loves the familiar. Even if your current life is miserable, your ego prefers it because it is predictable. The ego is the architect of the false foundation. It whispered in your ear for years. It told you, don't try that, you might fail. It told you, sleep in, you deserve it. It told you, you aren't the type of person who does that. Why? Because the ego wants to protect the old version of you. The ego views change as death. When you try to change, when you try to wake up early, when you try to sit in silence, when you try to work out, your ego will scream. It will panic. It will flood your brain with excuses. It will tell you that you are tired. It will tell you that it's pointless. It is not about ability. It is about discipline. You must recognize that voice for what it is. A defense mechanism for a version of you that no longer exists. Comfort is a structural hazard. If you are comfortable, you are not building. If you are comfortable, you are decaying. The ego sells you comfort because comfort keeps you in the old house. You must view comfort as a warning sign. When you feel that resistance, when you feel that pull to go back to your old ways, that is the heat of the fire. That is the demolition happening. Do not run from the heat. Stand in it. Let it burn away the weakness. Let it burn away the excuses. Let it burn away the need to be liked or understood. You don't need their permission. You don't need your family to understand why you are changing. You don't need your friends to approve of your new discipline. In fact, they probably won't. They will try to pull you back into the old house because your change threatens their stagnation. Let them stay in the ruins. You are moving on. Here is your instruction for this phase. Stop identifying with your feelings. Your feelings are just dust kicking up from the demolition. You feel sad? Irrelevant. You feel unmotivated? Irrelevant. You feel scared? Irrelevant. The architect does not consult the brick to see if it feels like being laid. The architect follows the blueprint. You are clearing the site. You are bulldozing the land. It is messy. It is violent. It is loud. But once the dust settles, you will be left with something you haven't had in a very long time: solid ground. You cannot rebuild your mind until you admit that the current one is broken. You cannot install elite discipline until you destroy the habits of the amateur. So grab the sledgehammer. Look at your excuses. Look at your personality traits that hold you back. Look at your history and smash them. Reset to 0. Today, you are nobody, which means today, You can become anybody. You have cleared the land. You have removed the debris. The site is open. Now that the noise of your past is gone, you are left with a silence. But silence is dangerous if you don't know how to command it. You have fired the old crew, but who is going to run the new site? You have emptied the house, but who is going to make the decisions? It is time to install the new management.
Chapter 2. You are not your feelings. You are the executive. Who is running the show? Look at your life right now. Look at the decisions you made yesterday. Did you make them, or did your feelings make them? You didn't go to the gym because you felt tired. You ate the junk food because you felt stressed. You snapped at your spouse because you felt irritated. You scrolled on your phone for 2 hours because you felt bored. You are not living a life. You are reacting to a weather report. You are a leaf blowing in the wind of your own biochemistry. This stops today. In Chapter 1, we demolished the old house. Now we look at the management. The biggest lie you have ever been told is that your feelings are the truth. They are not the truth. They are weather. They pass, they change, they are volatile. If you build your life based on how you feel, you will build nothing. Feelings are for children. Adults operate on principles. Executives operate on data. You are now the executive of your own mind. To understand your new role, you need to understand the hierarchy of the self. There are 2 people inside of you. First, there is the laborer. This is your physical body and your primitive brain. The laborer is simple. The laborer wants comfort. It wants sugar. It wants sleep. It wants safety. It wants to avoid pain at all costs. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., the laborer screams, "No, it's cold. Stay in bed." Then there is the architect. This is your higher mind. This is the part of you that has a vision. The architect knows that to build a skyscraper, you need to dig deep. The architect knows that pain is necessary for growth. Here's the problem. For your entire life, you have let the laborer run the construction site. Imagine a construction site where the bricklayer tells the architect, "I don't feel like laying bricks today. It's too heavy." If the architect listens, the building never gets built. The project fails. You have been negotiating with the laborer. You have been treating the laborer's complaints as valid orders. That's the key. You must stop negotiating with yourself. The laborer does not get a vote. The laborer gets orders. When you feel the urge to quit, that is just the laborer complaining. Let it complain. You are the executive. You acknowledge the complaint and then you issue the directive. I feel tired. Acknowledged. Do it anyway. I feel anxious. Acknowledged. Do it anyway. I don't feel like it. Irrelevant. Do it anyway. It's not about motivation, it's about hierarchy. Motivation is hoping the laborer feels like working. Discipline is the architect forcing the laborer to work regardless of how he feels. You need to understand what emotions actually are. This is where we talk about biological puppetry. You think your emotions are these deep spiritual truths. They are not. They are chemical signals. They are ancient code running on a biological machine designed for survival, not success. When you feel fear before a big presentation or a difficult conversation, that is not a sign that you should stop. That is a biological reflex. Your brain is flooding with cortisol because it perceives a threat. It is trying to keep you safe. But you don't need to be safe. You need to be effective. When you feel the urge to check your phone, that is not a need, that is a dopamine loop. You are a puppet dancing on strings made of chemicals. Are you going to let a squirt of cortisol dictate your destiny? Are you going to let a drop of dopamine destroy your focus? You have a choice. You can be the puppet, or you can be the puppeteer. We are not trying to eliminate emotions. That is impossible. You are human. You will feel fear. You will feel anger. You will feel exhaustion. Emotions are data, not directives.
This is a critical distinction. A directive tells you what to do. A data point just gives you information. If the dashboard in your car says low fuel, that is data. It doesn't grab the steering wheel and force you off the road, it just informs you. You, the driver, decide when and where to stop. Treat your emotions like dashboard lights. Anger detected. Okay, that's data. Why am I angry? Is a boundary being crossed? Good. I will use that energy to enforce the boundary. I will not scream. I will not lose control. I will use the data to make an executive decision. It's not about repression, it's about utilization. So how do we execute this in real time? How do we stop the puppet strings from jerking us around? I am going to give you a drill. It is called the 5-second pause. Most people live in a reaction loop. Stimulus happens, reaction follows. Immediate. Someone insults you, you get angry. You yell. You see a donut, you get hungry. You eat. There is no gap. There is no thinking. You are an animal reacting to a prod. The executive lives in the gap between stimulus and response. From now on, whenever you feel a spike of emotion, intense anger, sudden fear, overwhelming desire to quit, you initiate the pause. You stop. Physically stop moving. You shut your mouth. You count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In those 5 seconds, you are hacking the system. You are waiting for the initial chemical wave to crest and break. You are allowing the prefrontal cortex, the logic center, the architect, to come online. During this pause, you repeat the mantra, I observe, I do not react. You look at the anger. You imagine it as an object sitting on a table in front of you. You look at it. Oh, look at that. That is anger. Interesting. You dissociate from it. You are not the anger. You are the watcher of the anger. You have a choice. In that 5-second window, you regain your sovereignty. You cut the strings. After 5 seconds, you ask yourself, what does the architect want to do? The laborer wants to scream. The architect wants to solve the problem. The laborer wants to run away. The architect wants to stand ground. The laborer wants to quit the set. Choose the architect every single time. This is not easy. This is war. Your biology has millions of years of evolution behind it, trying to make you take the easy path. Your brain is wired to conserve energy and avoid risk. By choosing the hard path, by choosing control, you are literally fighting against your own programming. That is why most people fail. They think they should listen to their body. If I listened to my body, I would be fat, lazy, and broke. My body wants to hibernate. My body is a survival machine, not a success machine. You don't need their permission. You don't need your body's permission to work hard. You command it. When you master this, you become dangerous. Imagine a man who cannot be offended. Imagine a woman who cannot be discouraged. Imagine a person who feels fear but moves forward with perfect precision anyway. That is the executive. You are no longer a slave to your moods. You are consistent. You show up when you are happy. You show up when you are sad. You show up when you are grieving. You show up when you are tired. Because the mission is more important than the mood. You have taken control of the cockpit. You are flying the plane. The turbulence of your emotions might shake the cabin, but you hold the yoke steady. You have demolished the old house. You have installed the new management. You have realized that your feelings are just noise, and you have the power to silence them. But now that you are in the pilot seat, now that you are the executive, you have to make a decision. And not just any decision. You have to make a decision that eliminates all other decisions. You have to make it impossible to go back. You have the controls. Now, let's lock the course.
Chapter 3. The Law of Zero Options. Let me tell you why you failed in the past. It wasn't because the goal was too hard. It wasn't because you weren't smart enough. It wasn't because you didn't have the resources. You failed because you had a plan B. You failed because, in the back of your mind, there was a tiny whispering voice that said, "If this doesn't work out, I can always go back to being comfortable." You kept a safety net. You kept a back door open. And because that door was open, the moment things got difficult, and they always get difficult, you walked right through it. This brings us to the most dangerous law of the architect's mindset, the law of zero options. History is filled with stories of commanders who landed their troops on enemy shores and immediately ordered the burning of their own ships. Why? Were they crazy? No, they were geniuses. They knew that if the soldiers had a way to retreat, they would retreat. But if they watched their only way home burn to ashes, they would fight with a ferocity that cannot be matched. They had two choices: win or die. And guess what? They won. You are living your life with a fleet of ships waiting in the harbor. You say you want to get in shape, but you keep the junk food in the cupboard just in case guests come over. You say you want to build a business, but you keep spending your weekends partying just to blow off steam. You are hedging your bets. That's the key. As long as you have an exit strategy, you will use it. As long as failure is a survivable option, you will fail. True reconstruction, true change, only happens when you back yourself into a corner. You have to cut the rope. You have to burn the boats. You have to make the old life impossible to return to. Let's talk about the mechanics of why this works. It comes down to something called decision fatigue. Your willpower is like a battery. You wake up with a full charge. Every time you make a decision, you drain a little bit of that battery. What should I wear? Drain. What should I eat for breakfast? Drain. Should I go to the gym now or later? Drain. By the time you get to the hard work, your battery is empty. You are running on fumes. And when you are running on fumes, you choose the path of least resistance. You choose the couch. You choose the distraction. The amateur wakes up every day and asks, "Do I feel like training today?" They treat it like a choice. They expend energy debating with themselves. They weigh the pros and cons. The elite do not negotiate. Successful people make fewer decisions by making one big decision that eliminates 1,000 small ones. If you decide, truly decide, "I am an athlete," then you never have to ask if you are going to the gym. Do athletes skip training because they are tired? No. It is what they do. It is who they are. The decision was made years ago. If you decide, "I am a person who does not eat sugar," you don't stand in the grocery aisle debating whether to buy the cookies. The decision has already been made. You walk past them. There is no drain on your willpower because there is no choice to make. You have a choice. You can spend your life exhausted, constantly debating with your own weakness, or you can make the one big decision right now. You must strip the option of no out of your vocabulary for the things that matter. You don't try to wake up early. You are an early riser. You don't try to be honest. You are a person of truth. When you lock your identity, the actions follow automatically. You stop deciding. You just execute. This brings us to the mantra of this chapter. I want you to burn this into your mind. I want you to say it when the alarm goes off. I want you to say it when your muscles burn. I want you to say it when you are staring at a blank page. It is required. Therefore, it is done. There is no maybe. There is no I'll see how I feel.
Does the sun ask if it feels like rising? Does your heart ask if it feels like beating? No. It is required. Therefore, it is done. You must view your daily disciplines not as tasks, but as biological necessities. You don't negotiate with your need for oxygen. You shouldn't negotiate with your need for discipline. The moment you start negotiating with yourself, you have already lost. Well, I worked hard yesterday, so maybe I can skip today. Stop. Who is talking? That is the laborer. That is the old you looking for the exit. That is the safety net appearing. It's not about motivation. It's about obligation. You have a duty to your potential. You have a duty to the architect you are becoming. When you treat your goals as optional, you get optional results. When you treat them as life or death requirements, you get elite results. So, how do we apply the law of zero options today? First, identify your escape routes. Where are you hiding a plan B? Is it a toxic relationship you keep just in case you get lonely? Is it a savings account you've labeled in case I quit my dream? Is it the mental belief that I can always start again next month? Identify them and destroy them. If you are quitting smoking, you don't keep a pack in the car. You destroy them. You don't hang out with smokers. You burn the bridge. If you are starting a business, you commit resources that you cannot get back. You put skin in the game. You make it so that if you do not succeed, you lose something painful. Fear is a powerful fuel. Use it. Create a situation where the fear of not doing the work is greater than the fear of the work. You don't need their permission. People will tell you that you are being too extreme. They will tell you to keep your options open. They will tell you to be sensible. Being sensible is how you end up average. Being sensible is how you end up with a life full of unfinished projects and regret. Extreme results require extreme commitment. You need to look at the reflection and declare that there is no going back. The door is locked. The key is melted. The ships are ash at the bottom of the ocean. When you live by the law of zero options, a strange thing happens. The anxiety disappears. Anxiety comes from uncertainty. It comes from weighing options. Should I? Shouldn't I? What if? When you have no options, you have no anxiety. You only have a path. It is liberating. You wake up, you see the task, you do the task. It is required, therefore, it is done. It is required, therefore, it is done. Repeat it until it overrides the weak voice in your head. You have now entered a state of total commitment. You have burned the past, you have taken control of the cockpit, and now you have destroyed the exit strategy.
You are moving forward. There is nowhere else to go. But here is the reality check. Just because you are moving forward doesn't mean the road is smooth. In fact, now that you have committed, the road is going to get steep. The air is going to get thin, and it is going to hurt. Most people run from pain. They think pain means something is wrong. But you are the architect. You know the truth. Pain is not a warning signal. Pain is a building material. You have locked yourself in the room with the difficulty. Now you must learn how to use it.
Chapter 4. Pain is the mortar. Let's talk about the one thing you have spent your entire life trying to avoid. You have designed your entire existence around escaping it. You buy the softer mattress. You take the warm shower. You drive the air-conditioned car. You scroll through your phone to numb the boredom. You procrastinate to avoid the stress. You are addicted to comfort, and that addiction is why you remain fragile. In the previous chapters, we cleared the site. We poured the foundation. We set the rules. But here is the hard truth about construction. You can stack the strongest bricks in the world, but if you do not use mortar, the wall will collapse the moment the wind blows. What binds the structure together? What makes a stack of bricks into an impenetrable fortress? Pain is the mortar. Pain is the binding agent of your new character. Without it, you are just a loose pile of good intentions. You think pain is a sign that something is wrong. You think, this is hard, so I shouldn't be doing it. You think, I'm tired, so I should stop. You have it backward. The presence of pain is the indicator that construction is happening. Think about concrete. How does it set? It sets under pressure. It hardens through a chemical reaction that generates heat. If you remove the pressure, if you remove the heat, it remains a sloppy, useless sludge. Your mind is the same. It needs heat. It needs pressure. It needs difficulty to harden into something that can withstand the world. You have a choice. You can live a frictionless life, sliding from one comfort to the next, remaining soft, malleable, and weak. Or you can invite the friction. You can step into the heat. This brings us to the callus theory. Look at the hands of a manual laborer. Look at the hands of a powerlifter. The skin is rough. It is thick. It is insensitive to minor irritations. Why? Because the skin was damaged and the body repaired it stronger than it was before. Now, look at the mind of the modern person. It is soft, it is pink, it is uncalloused. Because it has never touched anything rough, the slightest abrasion draws blood. A rude comment from a stranger ruins their day. A traffic jam causes a meltdown. A rejected email causes a depressive episode. This is not a psychological problem. This is a lack of conditioning. That's the key. You are suffering not because the world is too hard, but because you are too soft. You are walking barefoot on broken glass and complaining that the glass is sharp. The architect does not complain about the glass. The architect builds shoes. You must actively seek to callous your mind. You look at ultra-endurance athletes. They run 100 miles. They run until their feet bleed. They run until they hallucinate. Do you think they do it because it's fun? Do you think they do it because they enjoy the scenery? No. They do it to see if they can. They do it to introduce trauma to the system, so the system is forced to upgrade. It's not about fitness. It's about armor. When you force yourself to do something you hate, you are adding a layer of armor to your mind. Every time you stay on the treadmill when your lungs are burning, you are adding a layer. Every time you have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding, you are adding a layer.
Every time you sit down to work, when your brain is screaming for dopamine, you are adding a layer. If you do not seek friction, friction will find you. And when life hits you, and it will hit you, with a divorce, a death, a bankruptcy, or a crisis, you will crumble. Why? Because you have no armor. You have no calluses.
So we stop avoiding the difficult. We start hunting it. We need to introduce friction into your daily routine. I am not asking you to run a marathon tomorrow. I am asking you to introduce microdoses of suffering into your comfortable life. Why take a cold shower? It has nothing to do with your skin or your metabolism. It is a mental drill. You are standing in a warm bathroom. You are comfortable. You look at the knob. You know that turning it to cold is going to suck. Every instinct in your body screams no, and then you do it anyway. In that moment, you overrode the laborer. You calloused the will. You prove to yourself that you control the environment. The environment does not control you. The obstacle is the raw material. Memorize that phrase. The cold water is the raw material. The fatigue is the raw material. The hunger is the raw material. You take these things and you metabolize them into strength. If you are writing a book and the words won't come and you feel frustrated, good. That frustration is the raw material. Sit in it. Wrestle with it. Do not open another tab. Do not pick up your phone. The pain of boredom is the mortar that binds your focus. You don't need their permission to suffer. People will think you are crazy. They will say, "Why do you get up so early? You don't have to. Why are you working so hard? Relax a little." They want you to relax because your intensity highlights their laziness. Your calluses make them self-conscious about their soft hands. Do not listen to the soft. Do not take advice from people who are building nothing. Here is your instruction for today. This is the friction test. I want you to identify one thing you hate doing. Not something dangerous, not something injurious. Something you hate because it is uncomfortable. Something you hate because it is boring. Something you hate because it hurts your ego. Maybe it's cleaning the garage. Maybe it's calling a client who yelled at you. Maybe it's doing a set of burpees until you can't breathe. Maybe it's sitting in a chair for 30 minutes with no phone, no music, and just your own thoughts. Find that thing and do it immediately. While you are doing it, while your mind is complaining, while the laborer is begging you to stop, I want you to repeat the phrase, "The obstacle is the raw material." Feel the resistance. That resistance is the weight on the bar. You cannot get strong without gravity. You cannot get tough without resistance. Every second you stay in the discomfort, you are hardening the mortar. You are taking a loose pile of bricks and turning them into a wall that cannot be knocked down. Most people spend their lives praying for lighter loads. The architect prays for stronger shoulders. Most people want the path to be smooth. The architect knows that a smooth path leads nowhere worth going. The steep path, the rocky path, the painful path, that is the one that leads to the summit. Stop looking for the hack. Stop looking for the shortcut. The shortcut is the long road. The hack is the hard work. Embrace the suck. Love the burn. When you are in the middle of the struggle and you want to quit, smile. Smile because you know something the rest of the world has forgotten. You know that this pain is not dying, it is setting. You are becoming solid. You have demolished the old self. You have taken command. You have burned the boats. And now you have hardened the structure with the mortar of pain. You are becoming strong. You are becoming disciplined. But there is a trap waiting for you. A trap that catches even the strongest men and women. Now that you are building something impressive, you will feel the urge to show it off. You will feel the urge to tell people what you are doing. You will want the likes, the applause, the validation. And if you seek that, you will destroy everything you have built. A foundation exposed to the light too early will crack.
You need to learn how to build in the dark.
Chapter 5. Silence the external noise. Let's talk about the addiction that is killing your progress faster than laziness ever could. It isn't sugar. It isn't video games. It isn't even fear. It is the addiction to applause. You live in a world that has trained you to broadcast every single thought, every single meal, and every single workout to an audience of strangers. You hit the gym, and before you even lift a weight, you take a picture. You start a business, and before you make $1, you update your bio to CEO. You read one chapter of a book, and you post a quote to show everyone how deep you are. You are performing success instead of creating it. You are confusing the appearance of work with the reality of work. This is the validation trap. You are building a movie set, not a fortress. A movie set looks great from the front, but if you lean on it, it falls over. A fortress is ugly, it is rough, but it stands when the missiles fly. The architect does not care if the neighbors like the blueprints. The architect cares if the math holds up. The architect cares if the foundation is solid. If you need a cheerleading squad to do the work, you will quit the moment the room goes quiet. And let me tell you something, the room will go quiet. The likes will stop. The comments will dry up. And when the applause dies, will you keep building? Or will you pack up your tools because nobody is watching? That's the key. Real power is silent. Real progress is boring. Real transformation happens in the empty hours of the morning when nobody is awake to double-tap your photo. You need to learn the art of building in the dark. There is a biological reason why you shouldn't talk about your goals. When you tell someone, "I'm going to lose 20 pounds," and they say, "Wow, good for you," your brain releases dopamine. You get the chemical reward of the achievement before you have done the work. You trick your brain into thinking you've already crossed the finish line. And what happens? The drive evaporates. The hunger disappears. You got the reward without the cost. That is a fatal error. You must starve your need for attention so that you can feed your need for execution. Imagine a seed. Where does a seed grow? Does it grow in the bright sunlight exposed to the air? No, it grows in the dirt. It grows in the dark. It is buried. It fights through the soil in total silence. If you dig up the seed every day to show people how much it has grown, you kill it. Your goals are seeds. Stop digging them up. Stop exposing them to the light of public opinion before they have roots. You have a choice. You can be the person who talks about what they are going to do, or you can be the person who people talk about because of what they have done. You cannot be both. The loudest people in the room are usually the weakest. The man with the most money doesn't shout about his bank account. The woman with the most discipline doesn't brag about her routine. They just live it. Silence is the ultimate sign of confidence. Noise is the ultimate sign of insecurity.
Now, I am going to give you a truth that might hurt. It might feel cold, but if you let it in, it will set you free. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your problems. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about your journey as much as you do. You think the world is watching you. You think everyone is analyzing your failures. You think people are waiting for you to succeed. They aren't. They are thinking about themselves. They are thinking about their own bills, their own insecurities, their own dinner. This sounds harsh, but it is actually the nobody cares freedom. If nobody cares, then you are free from the pressure to perform. If nobody is watching, then you don't have to look good. You just have to be good. You can fail and nobody will notice. You can struggle and nobody will judge. You are invisible. Use that invisibility. Cloak yourself in it. Stop trying to prove to your high school friends that you are successful. Stop trying to prove to your parents that you are happy. Stop trying to prove to the internet that you are grinding. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation to know you are on the right path. The only validation that matters is the reflection in the mirror. When you seek validation, you hand your power over to others. You are saying, "Please tell me I am good enough." The architect does not ask. The architect knows. So, how do we practice this? What is the instruction? I want you to go dark. I challenge you to a period of total radio silence regarding your goals. For the next 30 days, tell nobody what you are working on. If you are writing a book, don't tweet about the word count. Write. If you are training for a marathon, don't post the run times. Run. If you are starting a business, don't print the business cards yet. Build the product. Feel the urge to share rise up in your throat and swallow it. Keep that energy inside. When you don't release that energy through talking, it builds pressure. It builds internal combustion. That pressure becomes the fuel that drives you through the hard work. It's not about secrecy, it's about potency. A steam engine works because the steam is trapped. If you open the valves and let the steam out, the engine stops. Your talk is the steam escaping. Seal the valves. Let the pressure build. Let it drive the pistons of your life. Your mantra for this phase is simple. Work in the dark, shine in the light. The world only deserves to see the result. They do not deserve to see the process. The process is yours. The pain is yours. The doubt is yours. Keep it sacred. Keep it hidden. When you finally emerge, when you finally show the world what you have built, the impact will be massive. People will ask, "How did you do this? Where did this come from? You changed so fast." They won't see the months of silence. They won't see the early mornings in the dark. They won't see the failures you fixed without complaining. They will call it talent. They will call it luck. Let them. You know the truth. You built this in the dark while they were busy making noise in the light. So shut your mouth, put down the phone, close the door. The external noise is gone. The audience has left the building. It is just you and the blueprints. But now that it is just you, there's nowhere left to hide. You can't blame the audience anymore. You can't blame the critics. You can't blame the distractions. It is just you. And if the building falls down now, there's only one person to blame. You. You have stripped away the noise, and now you must strip away the ultimate defense mechanism, the victim. It is time to look at the list of everything that is wrong with your life and sign your name at the bottom.
Chapter 6. Kill the Victim. Birth the Victor. We have arrived at the most difficult chapter in this entire book. This is the chapter where most people will turn the audio off. This is the chapter where you will feel defensive. You will feel attacked. You will want to argue with me. You will want to scream, "But it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault that I grew up poor. It wasn't my fault that my partner cheated on me. It wasn't my fault that the economy crashed. It wasn't my fault that I have bad genetics." I agree. It wasn't your fault. But I don't care. And neither does the universe. There is a disease that rots the foundation of the mind faster than any other force. It is not fear. It is not doubt. It is the victim mindset. The moment you point your finger at someone else, at your parents, your boss, the government, the weather, and say, "They caused this," you have slit your own throat. Why? Because the moment you blame someone else for your situation, you hand over your power to change it. You are saying, "Because they did X, I am forced to be Y."
You are admitting that you are a passenger in your own life. You are admitting that you're a slave to circumstance. That's the key. As long as you are a victim, you cannot be an architect. An architect designs the outcome. A victim suffers the outcome. You cannot be both. We are here to kill the victim. We are here to bury the version of you that waits for an apology that is never coming. We need to make a critical distinction right now. You must learn the difference between fault and responsibility. Fault looks backward. Fault asks, who broke this? Responsibility looks forward. Responsibility asks, who is going to fix this? If someone smashes your car window while it is parked on the street, it is not your fault. You didn't do it. But it is your responsibility to fix it. If you leave the window broken because it wasn't your fault, who suffers? You do. Your car gets wet. Your car gets stolen. You are the one driving in the cold. Your life is the car. Maybe your childhood was traumatic. That is not your fault. But healing from it is your responsibility. Maybe your boss fired you unfairly. That is not your fault. But finding a new job is your responsibility. Maybe you were born with a slow metabolism. That is not your fault. But getting in shape is your responsibility. When you refuse to take responsibility because it's not fair, you are choosing to stay in the broken car. You are choosing to let the rain in. You are waiting for the vandal to come back and fix the window. Spoiler alert, they are not coming back. Nobody is coming to save you. You have a choice. You can be right, or you can be free. You can argue until you are blue in the face that you were wronged, that you are a victim of circumstance, and you might be right. But being right won't build the house. Being right won't put money in the bank. Being right won't fix your body. I want you to trade justice for power. The victor does not care about fairness. The victor cares about the outcome. Now, we are going to do the work. We are going to conduct the audit of blame. I want you to visualize a piece of paper. On the left side, I want you to list every single thing that is wrong in your life right now. Your debt, your weight, your loneliness, your unfinished projects, the fact that you are tired all the time.
Now look at that list. The victim looks at it and has an excuse for every single line. I'm in debt because college was expensive. I'm overweight because healthy food is pricey. I'm lonely because dating apps suck. Stop it. We are going to rewrite the narrative. Next to every single item on that list, I want you to write 3 words. I allowed this. Read that again. I allowed this. I am in debt. I allowed this. I spent money I didn't have. I am overweight. I allowed this. I put the food in my mouth. I am in a toxic relationship. I allowed this. I stayed when I should have left. Do you feel that? That is the sting of truth. It hurts. It feels heavy. Good. That weight is the weight of the sledgehammer. You are taking it back. If you allowed it, then you can fix it. If someone else caused it, you're helpless. If you caused it, you are powerful. This is the turning point of your life. This is the moment you stop waiting for the world to change and you start forcing the world to adapt to you. It's not about guilt. It's about leverage. We are not doing this to make you feel guilty. Guilt is a useless emotion. We are doing this to give you leverage. If you are the problem, you are also the solution. This brings us to the concept of sovereignty. The sovereign king does not blame the neighboring kingdom for the weeds in his garden. He pulls the weeds. The sovereign architect does not blame the rain for the leak in the roof. He fixes the roof. The repetitive mantra for this chapter, the code you must install in your operating system, is this: I am the source. Say it. I am the source. I am the source of my success, and I am the source of my failure. I am the source of my energy, and I am the source of my fatigue. I am the source of my discipline, and I am the source of my distraction. When you adopt this mindset, you become terrifyingly effective. You stop wasting hours complaining to your friends about how hard it is. Complaining is energy leaking out of the system. The architect seals the leak. If something isn't working, you don't complain. You adjust. You pivot. You execute. You don't need their permission to change your life. Many of you are waiting for an apology from someone in your past before you can move on. You are holding your own potential hostage until someone else pays the ransom. Let it go. They're not going to pay. Cut the ropes yourself. Walk away. Stop telling the story of your trauma. Stop telling the story of how you were wronged. Every time you tell that story, you are rebuilding the shrine to the victim. Tear down the shrine. Burn the story. Start writing a new one where you are the hero who overcame, not the victim who succumbed. This is radical ownership. It is unfair, it is heavy, it is brutal. But it is the only way to build a skyscraper. You cannot outsource the foundation. You cannot subcontract your salvation. You look in the mirror and you say, "This mess is mine, and I am going to clean it up." There is a massive dignity in that. There is a pride that comes from cleaning up your own mess. So look at your life. Look at the wreckage. Don't look away. Don't look for a scapegoat. Look at it and say, "I am the source." You have killed the victim. The victim is dead and buried under the rubble of the old house. Standing on top of that rubble is the victor. The victor has the hammer. The victor has the plan. The victor has the power. But power without direction is chaos. Energy without a channel is an explosion, not an engine. You have the mindset. You have the ownership. You have the will to work in the dark. Now we need to build the structure that channels that will into consistent, lethal action. We need to talk about the laws that govern your hours. Motivation gets you started, but this next thing is the only thing that keeps you going.
Chapter 7. Routine is your religion. I want to talk to you about the biggest lie in the self-help industry. It is the lie that keeps you poor, fat, and inconsistent. It is the lie called motivation. You are waiting to feel like it. You are waiting for lightning to strike. You are waiting for that magical surge of energy where the work feels easy and the path feels clear. You are treating your life like a slot machine, pulling the handle every morning and hoping 3 motivation symbols line up so you can finally be productive. Stop it. Motivation is a myth. Motivation is a ghost. Motivation is for amateurs. The professional does not wait for inspiration. The professional gets up and goes to work. Do you think a heart surgeon waits to feel inspired before he saves a life? Do you think an elite soldier waits to feel motivated before he cleans his weapon? No, they do it because it is the standard. If you only build when the sun is shining, you will never finish the house. You have to learn how to lay bricks in the rain. You have to learn how to lay bricks in the dark. That's the key. The structure of your day dictates the structure of your mind. If your day is chaotic, reactive, and random, your mind will be chaotic, reactive, and random. If your day is structured, rigid, and predictable, your mind will be sharp, focused, and lethal. We are not here to find motivation. We are here to build a machine that works even when motivation is dead. That machine is called routine. And from this day forward, routine is your religion. You need to stop writing to-do lists. A to-do list is a wish list. It is a scrap of paper that says, "I hope I get to these things today." It is weak. It is flexible. It allows the laborer to negotiate with the architect. We do not use to-do lists. We use
Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs. In the military, in aviation, in high-stakes medicine, there is an SOP for everything. There is a specific, non-negotiable sequence of actions that must be taken to ensure success and survival. You need an SOP for your life. This means you design a schedule that acts as a set of laws, not suggestions. You don't wake up and ask, "What should I do first?" You wake up and execute the protocol. 06 o'clock, wake up. 06:10, hydrate. 06:30, exercise. 08, deep work. There is no gap for feelings to enter. There is no white space for the ego to whisper excuses. You are simply following the code you wrote. You have a choice. You can wake up and react to the world, check your phone, answer emails, let other people dictate your priorities, or you can wake up and execute your plan. When you have an SOP, you eliminate the chaos. You enter the cockpit and you know exactly which buttons to press. Now, I know what you were thinking. You were thinking, but this sounds boring. This sounds like a prison. I want freedom. I want spontaneity.
Let me tell you the truth about freedom. The person who has no routine is not free. They are a slave to their impulses. If you have no routine for your diet, you are a slave to your hunger. You eat whatever is in front of you. If you have no routine for your money, you are a slave to your spending triggers. You buy whatever looks shiny. If you have no routine for your work, you are a slave to distraction. You scroll whenever you get bored. That is not freedom. That is chaos. That is drifting. Here is the paradox that will save your life. Discipline is freedom. The more rigid your routine, the more freedom you actually have. If you're disciplined with your finances, you have the freedom to buy what you want later. If you are disciplined with your health, you have the freedom to hike, run, and play with your kids without getting winded. If you are disciplined with your time, you finish your work early and have the freedom to rest without guilt. It's not about restriction, it's about liberation. You are restricting the lower version of yourself so the higher version of yourself can fly. When you install a rigid routine, you are building a track for the train. Yes, the track is rigid. Yes, the track goes in one direction. But because of that track, the train can move at 100 miles per hour. Without the track, the train is stuck in the mud. This brings us to the automation of discipline. We talked in Chapter 3 about decision fatigue. Every time you have to decide to do something good, you burn willpower. The goal of the SOP is to remove the decision entirely. If you go to the gym every single day at 6 a.m., eventually you stop deciding to go. You just go. It becomes automatic. It becomes like brushing your teeth. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth? Do you need to listen to a hype speech to brush your teeth? No. You just do it because it's what you do. We want your success to be that boring. We want your excellence to be that automatic. That's the key. You want to reach a point where it is actually harder not to do the routine than it is to do it. You want to reach a point where missing a workout feels weird, where sleeping in feels uncomfortable. That is when you know the automation has taken hold. You don't need their permission. Your friends will call you a robot. They will say, "Come on, live a little, skip the gym, have a drink with us." They don't understand. They think living a little means indulging in weakness. You know that living means operating at your peak. They are addicted to the cheap dopamine of spontaneity. You are addicted to the deep satisfaction of consistency. Let them have their chaos. You keep your structure. While they are wondering where the time went, you are stacking wins. While they are waiting for inspiration, you are finishing the project. Here is your instruction. Tonight, before you go to sleep, you are going to write the SOP for tomorrow. Do not write a vague goal like work hard. That is garbage. Write 0900 to 1100. Write 1,000 words. Phone off, door closed. Be specific, be ruthless, and when tomorrow comes, you do not negotiate. If the schedule says run, you run, even if it's raining, even if you are sore. If the schedule says read, you read, even if Netflix is calling your name. Discipline is freedom. Repeat it. Discipline is freedom. When you surrender to the routine, you stop fighting with yourself. You stop the internal debate. You just execute. And in that execution, you find peace. You find the quiet confidence of knowing that you are doing exactly what you said you would do. You have now established the laws of your life. You have the blueprint in Chapter 1. You have the executive mind in Chapter 2. You have the daily code in Chapter 7. But there is a danger in routine. There is a danger in the grind. You will be tempted to get emotional about the results. You will be tempted to get hyped up when you have a good day and depressed when you have a bad day. This emotional roller coaster is inefficient. It wastes fuel. To be a true architect, you must detach from the highs and the lows. You must become clinical. You must become surgical. It is time to cool down the engine.
Chapter 8. Emotional Sterility. I am going to say something that goes against every motivational video you have ever watched. I am going to attack the very thing that most of you use to get out of bed in the morning. Stop getting hyped. You love the hype. You love the pump-up music. You love the screaming motivational speaker telling you that you are a lion, a beast, a warrior. You use that energy to hit the gym. You use that energy to start the project. You treat that emotional spike like it is fuel. But hype is not fuel. Hype is a sugar rush, and like every sugar rush, it is followed by a crash. If you rely on excitement to do the work, what happens on Tuesday morning when it's raining, you didn't sleep well, and you don't feel excited? You crash. You quit. You fold. To become the architect, you must abandon the addiction to emotional spikes. You must enter a state of emotional sterility. When you enter an operating room, everything is sterile. It is clean. It is stripped of bacteria, dirt, and anything that could cause an infection. Your mind must be the same. Emotions, both the extreme highs and the extreme lows, are contaminants. They infect your judgment. They cloud your precision. Excitement is just as dangerous as despair, because both of them take your eyes off the reality of the task. You have a choice. You can be the amateur who rides the roller coaster, screaming with joy at the top and crying at the bottom, or you can be the professional who flattens the curve, who operates with a steady, terrifying calmness, regardless of the situation. Let's look at the surgeon's mindset. Imagine you are on an operating table. Your chest is open. The surgeon is working on your heart. Suddenly, an artery bursts. Blood starts filling the cavity. Do you want that surgeon to get emotional? Do you want him to scream, "Oh no, this is terrible, I'm so scared"? No, that kills you. Do you want him to get hyped? Do you want him to start high-fiving the nurses and yelling, "Let's go, we are lions"? No, that also kills you. You want him to be stone cold. You want him to be sterile. You want him to look at the bleeding artery and see it as a physics problem, not a tragedy. You want him to execute the checklist: clamp, suction, suture. He does not panic. He does not celebrate. He works. This is the mindset you need to bring to your life. When your business loses a client, do not panic. It is a bleeding artery. Clamp, suction, suture, fix the problem. When you gain a new client, do not throw a party. It is just a successful procedure. Move to the next one. That's the key. The elite performers, the pilots landing a plane in a storm, the snipers taking a shot in the wind, the CEOs navigating a crisis, they all share this trait. They lower their heart rate when the pressure goes up. They detach. You have been taught that passion means being emotional. That is a lie. It's not about passion, it's about discipline. Passion burns out. Discipline keeps the lights on. You need to replace hype with procedure. When things go wrong, do not ask, "How do I feel about this?" Ask, "What is the protocol for this?"
This leads us to the practice of detachment. You are too attached to the outcome. You judge your self-worth based on the immediate result of your actions. If you post a video and it gets 1,000,000 views, you feel like a god. If it gets 10 views, you feel like a failure. You are letting the external world dictate your internal temperature. You are a thermometer reacting to the room. You need to be a thermostat. You set the temperature. You must detach your identity from the result. The architect loves the drawing, not the applause. The architect loves the building process, not the ribbon-cutting ceremony. If you have a great day, stay cool. Don't get arrogant. Arrogance makes you sloppy. If you have a terrible day, stay cool. Don't get depressed. Depression makes you slow. You don't need their permission to be successful, and you don't need their applause to know you did a good job. When you detach from the outcome, you become unshakable. I lost the money. Okay, rebuild. She broke up with me. Okay, move forward. I failed the test. Okay, study harder. There is no drama. There is only data. Drama is for reality TV. Data is for architects. I want to give you the phrase that defines this state. It is a paradox, but you must embody it. Cold mind, burning heart. A cold mind means you are logical, analytical, and ruthless in your execution. You see the world exactly as it is, not as you wish it to be. You do not lie to yourself. You do not get infected by optimism or pessimism. You are ice. A burning heart means you have an engine of infinite drive inside you. You have a why that pushes you through walls. You have a fire that never goes out. Most people have a hot mind and a cold heart. They get angry and emotional, hot mind, but they have no real drive or purpose, cold heart. They are reactive and weak. You must flip the script. Keep the fire in the engine room, not in the cockpit. If the fire gets into the cockpit, you crash. If the ice gets into the engine, you stall. Cold mind, burning heart. When you sit down to work, you are not trying to feel good. You are trying to be effective. You are a surgeon of your own destiny. You are cutting away the fat. You are stitching together a new reality. There is no room for hysteria in the operating theater. So, how do we practice emotional sterility today? We practice by killing the celebration and killing the wallowing. When you finish a big task today, do not lean back and say, "Wow, I am amazing." Simply say, "Done," and look for the next task. When you make a mistake today, do not spiral into self-loathing. Simply say, "Error identified," and fix it. Stop swinging from high to low. Find the center line. Stay there. The center line is where the work gets done. The center line is where the truth lives. When you stop chasing the highs, you stop fearing the lows.
You become a machine of consistency. And consistency is the only thing the universe respects. You have now cooled down the engine. You are operating with the precision of a surgeon. But now that you are stable, now that you are sterile, you are going to face the longest, hardest phase of the construction. The phase where nothing seems to be happening. The phase where the building looks the same day after day. Most people quit here because they get bored. They need the novelty. But you are going to learn that boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is the gatekeeper to greatness. We need to talk about the math of success. We need to talk about the compound interest of the mundane.
Chapter 9. The Compound Effect of Boring Days. Welcome to the desert. You have demolished the old house. You have poured the foundation. You have set the routine. You have stopped listening to your feelings. You were excited. You were motivated. You felt like a new person. But now, weeks have passed, maybe months, and the excitement is gone. The alarm goes off at 5 a.m., and it doesn't feel like a victory anymore. It just feels early. You go to the gym, and you don't hit a personal record. You just sweat. You sit down to work, and you don't have a breakthrough idea. You just type. It feels like nothing is happening. It feels like you are standing still. It feels boring. And this is the exact moment where 99% of people quit. They say, "This isn't working." They say, "I'm stuck." They say, "I need to try something new." They abandon the plan because they are addicted to the feeling of progress rather than the reality of progress. If you are bored, congratulations. You have arrived at the most important phase of the architect's journey. You have arrived at the compound effect of boring days. You think boredom is a problem. You think boredom means you're doing something wrong. That's the key. Boredom is not a bug, it is a feature. Boredom is the filter that weeds out the tourists from the professionals. The tourists want the highlight reel. The professionals love the practice footage. Let's talk about the 1% rule. You have been brainwashed by movies. You think success looks like a montage. You think it's one big training sequence followed by a massive victory. You think you need to make massive, heroic leaps to change your life. I'm going to lose 30 pounds in a month. I'm going to make $1 million this year. Stop trying to be a hero. Heroes die young. Heroes burn out. I don't want you to be a hero. I want you to be an investor. If you get 1% better every single day for a year, mathematically, you end up 37 times better by the end of that year. If you get 1% worse every single day, you skip the workout, you eat the donut, you procrastinate, you degrade down to 0. The gap between the elite and the average is not created by one giant leap. It is created by the accumulation of boring, invisible 1% days. It is the day you didn't want to read, but you read 10 pages anyway. Nobody saw it. Nobody clapped. It felt insignificant, but that was a deposit. It is the day you felt tired, but you did the rep anyway. It wasn't your best workout. It was boring, but that was a deposit. You have a choice. You can chase the lottery ticket, the big break, the viral hit, the sudden transformation, and end up broke.
Or you can commit to the penny-pinching, boring, relentless accumulation of small wins. The compound effect is slow. It is deceptively slow. If you fold a piece of paper in half 42 times, it would reach the moon. But for the first few folds, it looks like nothing. It looks like a flat piece of paper. You are in the early folds right now. You look at your results and say, "I don't see the moon." Of course you don't. Keep folding.
This brings us to the grind. I want you to fall in love with the word monotony. We live in a society that craves novelty. New apps, new diets, new workout plans, new shows. We are terrified of doing the same thing twice. But look at the masters. The greatest swordsman practices the same swing 10,000 times. The greatest writer sits at the same desk at the same time every day. The greatest investor buys the same boring index funds for 50 years. It's not about variety, it's about mastery. You need to embrace the grind. You need to understand that a boring day is a good day. A boring day means no drama. A boring day means you executed the plan without deviation. The repetitive mantra for this chapter is this: the magic is in the mundane. Say it. The magic is in the mundane. You are looking for magic in the extraordinary. You are looking for it in the seminars, the retreats, the expensive equipment. But the magic is in the cold oatmeal. The magic is in the unsexy spreadsheets. The magic is in the silence of a Tuesday afternoon when you are working and everyone else is at happy hour. That is where the separation happens. While they are seeking entertainment, you are seeking compounding. While they are complaining that every day is the same, you are celebrating that every day is a step. You don't need their permission to be boring. Your friends will ask, "Why don't you come out? You're always working. You're no fun anymore." Wear that like a badge of honor. Fun is for people who are distracting themselves from their own mediocrity. You are not here for fun. You are here for construction. And construction is a repetitive process. Lay the brick, mortar, level, repeat. Lay the brick, mortar, level, repeat. It is not exciting, it is effective. You must understand that the plateau is an illusion. When you are working hard and seeing no results, you are not stalled. You are charging the battery. Bamboo grows underground for 5 years. You water it, you fertilize it, and you see nothing. The ground looks dead. If you're an amateur, you stop watering. You say, "This isn't working." But if you are a farmer, you know the truth. You know that underneath the soil, a massive root system is being built. And then, in the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Did it grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? No, it grew 90 feet in 5 years. You are in the underground phase. You are in the root building phase. Do not dig up the seed to see if it's working. Do not change the plan because you are bored. That's the key. Consistency is the only currency that matters. Intensity is cheap. Anyone can run fast for a minute. Anyone can work hard for a weekend. Can you work hard for a decade? Can you keep the pace when the applause has stopped, when the lights are off, and when the only thing staring back at you is the same task you did yesterday? If you can do that, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature, because nobody can compete with a man or woman who does not need excitement to function. If I can outbore you, I can outwork you. So here's your instruction. Look at your routine today. Is it boring? Is it repetitive? Good. Keep it that way. Stop looking for the spark. Become the fire that burns steadily. Stop looking for the spike. Become the line that trends upward forever. The magic is in the mundane. The magic is in the mundane. Every time you feel that itch to change things up, recognize it as the enemy. That is the amateur trying to sabotage the professional. Stay on the path. Keep walking. The view doesn't change much day to day, but if you look back after a year, you will realize you are standing on a mountain.
you have mastered the demolition. You have mastered the routine. You have mastered the boredom. You have built a structure that is strong, resilient, and compounding daily. But there is one final trap, one final illusion that destroys even the greatest architects. It is the illusion of the finish line. You think there is a day coming where you can stop. You think there is a day where you can put down the hammer and say, "I made it." You are wrong. If you stop building, the building starts falling. We need to talk about the terrifying, beautiful truth of the infinite game. We need to talk about why you can never retire from the work on yourself.
Chapter 10. The Unfinished Cathedral. We have arrived at the end, or at least what you think is the end. You have listened to the hours of coaching. You have demolished the old self. You have installed the routines. You have embraced the pain. You have learned to work in the dark. And now there is a question lurking in the back of your mind. It is a dangerous question. It is the question that destroys empires and ruins great men. You are asking, when am I done? When do I get to relax? When is the house finished? At what point can I put down the hammer and just enjoy what I have built? I am here to tell you the truth. Never. You are never done. There is no finish line. There is no graduation day. There is no point where the credits roll and you live happily ever after. If you are looking for a destination, you are in the wrong game. This is not a sprint. This is not a marathon. This is an infinite march. We call this chapter The Unfinished Cathedral. Think of the great cathedrals of history, the Sagrada Familia in Spain, the Duomo in Milan. These structures took centuries to build. The architects who laid the foundations died long before the spires were finished. They knew they were working on something that would never be fully complete in their lifetime. Your mind is a cathedral. It is massive, it is complex, and it is never finished. As soon as you build the walls, you must build the roof. As soon as the roof is up, you must design the towers. As soon as the towers are up, the foundation needs reinforcing. That's the key. The architect does not build to finish. The architect builds to build. The joy is not in the completion. The joy is in the construction. If you're only working hard so that one day you can stop working hard, you have missed the point entirely. You are chasing a ghost. Let's talk about the myth of done. Society sells you this myth. They sell you the idea of retirement. They sell you the idea of passive income. They sell you the idea of reaching your goal weight. They want you to believe that there is a magical plateau where the struggle ends and the bliss begins. This is a lie designed to make you weak. Because what happens when you hit the goal? You make the $1 million, you get the six-pack, you marry the partner, you celebrate for 5 minutes, and then the emptiness returns. The void opens up again. Why? Because humans are designed for pursuit, not possession. We are hunters, not gatherers. When the hunt is over, the hunter becomes restless. The hunter becomes depressed. You have a choice. You can hit the goal, say, "I'm done," and watch your life fall apart, or you can hit the goal, nod your head, and immediately set a bigger one. The moment you think you are done, you are dead. The moment you think you have arrived, you start slipping backwards. Satisfaction is the enemy of greatness. I don't want you to be satisfied. I want you to be hungry. I want you to be perpetually unsatisfied with your current level of execution. It's not about achievement, it's about evolution. You achieve a goal to prove you can do it. Then you use that new baseline to reach for something higher. The architect adds a new floor, then another, then another. The skyline is limitless. Here is the physics of why you can never stop. It is called entropy. Maintenance mode is death. There is no such thing as maintaining in nature. Look at a garden.
If you stop weeding, do the weeds just stay away? No, they come back. Look at a house. If you stop repairing it, does it stay perfect? No. The paint peels, the roof leaks, the wood rots. Everything in the universe naturally trends toward chaos and decay. The only thing that fights entropy is energy. The moment you stop injecting energy into your system, the system begins to die. You think you can get in shape and then just maintain it by sitting on the couch? No. Your muscles will atrophy. Your heart will weaken. You think you can build a business and then just coast? No. The market will change. Competitors will eat you up. You don't need their permission to keep pushing when everyone else is slowing down. People will tell you, you've done enough. Relax. You've made it. They are trying to pull you into the grave with them. They are trying to pull you into the state of decay. To stop climbing is to start falling. There is no standing still on a moving treadmill. Life is moving backward. If you stand still, you go backward. To stay in the same place, you have to run. To get ahead, you have to sprint. Do not seek maintenance. Seek expansion. If you have mastered your body, master your mind. If you have mastered your mind, master your finances. If you have mastered your finances, master your spirit. There is always another room in the cathedral to build. And so we circle back to the beginning. We end where we began. The eternal day one. Do you remember chapter 1, Reset to Zero? That wasn't just a tip for getting started. That is the philosophy for staying alive. Tomorrow morning, the sun will rise. And when it does, nobody cares what you did today. The universe doesn't care that you worked out yesterday. It doesn't care that you ate clean yesterday. It doesn't care that you were kind to your spouse yesterday. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's game. Success is not owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every single day. You have to wake up tomorrow and re-earn the title of architect. You have to wake up tomorrow and recallous your mind. You have to wake up tomorrow and fight the entropy again. This sounds exhausting to the weak. It sounds like a nightmare to the lazy. But to you, to the architect, it is a promise. It is a promise that you will never run out of purpose. It is a promise that you will never run out of challenges. Always day one. Repeat it. Always day one. Every morning is a reset. Every morning is a new contract. You look in the mirror and you see a stranger. You have to build that stranger into a warrior by the time the sun goes down. And then you sleep. And then you do it again. That's the key. The process is the prize. The grind is the glory. You are not suffering through the work to get to the vacation. The work is the vacation from the misery of being average. So, do not look for the exit. Do not look for the finish line. The cathedral will never be finished, and that is why it is beautiful. It is a living testament to your will. You have the tools now. You know how to demolish the ego. You know how to control the labor. You know how to burn the boats. You know how to use pain as mortar. You know how to work in the dark. You know how to take radical ownership. You know that routine is religion. You know how to be sterile. You know how to love the boring days. And now you know that it never ends. The blueprint is in your hands. The cement is wet. The hammer is heavy. The sun is coming up on a new day. You are back at zero. The world is waiting to see what you build. I have given you everything I can give you. The rest is execution. The rest is violence against your own weakness. The rest is action. We are going to close this book now, but we are not closing your work. We are opening it. Listen to these final words. Let them burn into your soul. This is your final directive.
You now have the blueprint. You understand the tools.
But a blueprint is just ink on paper until you pick up the hammer. Listen to me closely. The old you is dead. That person who made excuses, buried. That person who sought validation, gone. You are the architect now. The world will try to distract you. Your feelings will try to betray you. Fatigue will try to break you. But you will not break because you are built on a foundation of truth. Do not wait for Monday. Do not wait for the new year. The construction site is open. The clock is running. Rebuild your mind. Rebuild your body. Rebuild your life. Start now. Zero excuses. Get to work.